What's up guys, Jimmy here, and today I want to talk about Ryu and the state we're currently in with Street Fighter 6 and this weird talk about Ryu being a top tier character. Definitely not something that I was expecting in 2024, but here we are. Kusanagi with the big UFA win with Ryu. Very unexpected for a lot of people, myself included, which is why I spent such a long time analyzing his matches. If you haven't seen that, yeah, here. I can probably link it up here. You should watch that analysis. It's quite a lengthy one, but I think it really deserves to be highlighted how Kusanagi chose a character that nobody had on the radar and just took such a massive win to qualify for Capcom Cup. But before that, I just want to say thank you so much for 50,000 subscribers. I've been on this platform for about 10 years now, and we finally hit the 50k. I guess we'll see when we can finally hit 100k. Obviously, that's a major milestone that I want to hit at some point, and I'm sure with your support, anything is possible. So thank you so much for sticking with me for such a long time. You know, Street Fighter 6 has been quite a bumpy road for me, a bit unexpectedly with private struggles, but also some stuff that I personally decided, like changing from arcade stick to leverless, which is a decision that I still do not regret doing, but definitely took me way longer to get used to than I anticipated. The most difficult thing to learn on leverless is actually the anti-air Shoryuken, which was not within my expectation because there are good shortcuts for that motion. But yeah, I've been struggling with that for quite a while, and I've been slowly making progress little by little, which will hopefully in the future enable me to finally release that character guide that you guys been asking for. Now that I've seen Kusanagi play at UFA, I feel even more confident in sharing like really valuable thoughts on how you should be playing Ryu, because there's some key elements that I just couldn't decide on. Like when watching Semi play, I couldn't help but feel like there's something that I want to do different. And it made me a bit sad when I thought about, okay, I have to play all in all the time, take insane risks all the time, because that's how Semi plays in a lot of these matches. And like, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of respect for Semi, and I think he optimized a lot of niche scenarios that no other Ryu player thought about. So shoutouts to him for being such a big inspiration in so many different scenarios. But fundamentally, I think his playstyle just doesn't fit very much with what I normally want to do. It's a bit too aggressive, it's a bit too risky, and Kusanagi showed me there's a different way to play Ryu, and I think there's an interesting way to combine potentially both styles. I feel very inspired at the moment by seeing Kusanagi win a UFA, and this is something I want to carry into 2024 and 2025. And yeah, I think there's so much potential still for Ryu, especially when you consider there's actually still ways to optimize Ryu. Like Kusanagi left some damage on the table in some of his combo routes. You could tell that originally he's been playing a lot of Luke, right? And there are still things that he has not adapted to yet for Season 2 Ryu, and that's quite shocking to me. Like knowing that Kusanagi went in there with his fantastic neutral game, and really, like, most of the decisions were just godlike, and the knowledge on the character, the variety that he showed was phenomenal. But there were actually some combo routes that just weren't optimal, and that's crazy. Like winning UFA, like a major tournament, qualifying for Capcom Cup, and going into Capcom Cup with a character that you can still optimize on, let's say, like a fairly simple, the combo routes are actually the easy parts of the character. So thinking about that just makes me even more excited for Capcom Cup and seeing how far Ryu can actually go, because that's the easy stuff that you can still optimize. And that's scary. So this directly leads me to the question that I want to answer in this video. Is Ryu actually good now? Is he top tier? Because before UFA, people have been asking for more Ryu buffs because apparently it wasn't good enough for Season 2, and now people are asking for nerfs because the character is too crazy. So yeah, opinions can really change very, very quickly. So yeah, I mean, watching Kusanagi play really taught me one thing. You have to just play really well all the time. You have to have a lot of variety in your gameplay. I don't think I've ever seen so many different options for offense or defense chosen by a player. When I saw Kusanagi play, he never chose the same offensive option twice in a row, unless it's throw. Obviously, throw loops, you gotta go for that, right? Shoutouts to Street Fighter 6 and throw loops. I guess we'll see if that's ever gonna get changed. I mean, I've been thinking about making a video on this topic, so yeah, if you want to see that, definitely let me know in the comments below. I could probably make like a 30-minute video on this topic alone. I think it's quite fascinating, actually, how much stuff you have to consider when considering whether throw loops are actually hurting or helping the game. It's surprisingly nuanced. So yeah, with that being said, the point that I want to make for this video is I really think the game rewards good gameplay. Like, if you have a good read, if you know what the opponent will do, you will be able to win with any character. Like, it's kind of obviously true because that's always how it works. Like, if you know when a character is going to throw a fireball, you can jump in on the player and get a huge lead, right? But I think Street Fighter 6 is even more extreme than like any of the previous Street Fighter games in that regard. Just knowing what the opponent will do will help you dramatically, no matter what the options are that you actually have. The fact that Drive Rush and Drive Impact, I mean, we have ODDPs, we have so many ways to deal crazy damage from crazy situations. It is becoming even more important to just have a good read on the opponent, to have a good understanding of the mindset of the opponent. And I think that's really highlighted by like some new statistics that we can look into together right now. This is a really interesting chart by CatCami6. Shoutouts to CatCami6 on Twitter for posting this. This is absolutely amazing. It shows the CPT 2024 World Warrior results for top 8 up until September 17th. So this is very, very recent. For me, well, while I'm recording, that was yesterday, and I will hopefully upload it today, so it'll be yesterday for you as well. So if you take a look at the chart, I mean, sure, you have like the usual suspects here, Cammy on top with so many appearances in top 8, but Ken as well. Like, remember when people are like, people are currently saying Ken is a trash character, he's the worst Shoto. Like, you know the worst Shoto memes, right? That is not reflected in the CPT results. Akuma, a character that a lot of people feel like is too much of a glass cannon in Street Fighter 6. He dies instantly, and that is true, but he's very successful still. M. Bison, a character that is very new, but very, very successful here in this chart as well. And if you just take a look at all the characters, you can see there's quite a lot of variety. And I think the variety is there specifically because it doesn't seem to matter that much what character you choose. I think the tiers in Street Fighter 6 are a lot closer than they used to be. I mean, I just made a video on the matchup chart for Ryu. That was before UFA, by the way, where I tried to argue that Ryu has some problematic matchups, which I really think is true. Characters like Aki, who's been really, really successful this season. Actually not that successful, like, overall. I was actually expecting Aki to be a little bit higher on the list, but still enough winner placements. Like the blue line is very, very high here, comparatively, especially. So yeah, not many players are playing Aki apparently, but those who are pretty successful. That's what it means. And the same thing actually applies to Ryu. Actually, it's the most extreme for Ryu. Like, he's barely got any play time overall, but when he plays, he's very successful, you know? Marisa being by far the worst character in terms of results, which is a bit sad to see, but I mean, the rest of the cast seems to be doing just fine. Even Honda and Jamie, even though they have not had any wins, they are seeing top 4 results, you know? It's not, like, impossible for them to get top 4, but yeah, clearly, I mean, I don't think this is shocking to anyone, saying that Honda and Jamie are not particularly great characters, or Marisa, right? It's just that the discussion is currently shifted so much in Ryu's favor because he was regarded as one of the weaker characters, and in fact, the CPT leaderboards, he's actually consistently doing very poorly in the ranked statistics from Capcom. But yet, in tournament results, he's doing just fine. So what does that mean for Ryu overall? Is he a great character now all of a sudden? No, you can't really say that just from this statistic and just from the win from Kusanagi at UFA. Clearly you can win with Ryu if you're playing really well, you know? But I think this is true for any of the characters. I really think Street Fighter 6 allows you to just win with any character just from having a good intuition of what the opponent wants to do. And I think that's the primary thing that we want to have in a Street Fighter game. If I know what my opponent is going to do, I'm supposed to be able to win, right? It's ultimately a Street Fighter and fighting games in general. They're based on mind games, and if you're winning the mind games, you're supposed to be rewarded, and I think Street Fighter 6 does a really good job at that. So yeah, I'll be releasing my own tier list for Season 2 very, very soon, and early on in the Season 2, I predicted that Rashid is going to be one of the top characters, and if you if you take a look at this chart, he's the top performing character in terms of wins for CPT events so far. So for me, this is not a surprise whatsoever. He's actually not had the most appearances, but he does have the most amount of wins, which is very interesting. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you don't want to miss out, if you want to be part of this discussion. Overall, I really think the tiers are very close in Street Fighter 6 because of the system mechanics, and this is something to keep in mind. So yeah guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Ryu this season, now that Kusanagi won the big UFA title and qualifying for Capcom Cup with Ryu? Is he top tier now? Is he still underwhelming? Any and all thoughts in the comments below. So thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you guys soon.